Two friends, same paycheck, same rent, same city. One of them, she's a budgeting ninja, tracking every purchase, color-coding categories, sticking to the plan like it's gospel. The other doesn't even use a budget app. She lives by one simple rule: only spend on what adds value and say no to the rest. Fast forward 1 year. One has more in savings, less stress, and somehow a life that feels richer, fuller, freer. Guess who? Spoiler alert, it's not the budgeter. Here's the wild part. We've all been told budgeting is the key to saving money. But what if that's not the whole story? Today, we're flipping the script. Because budgeting isn't broken, it's just overrated. And what really saves you money is something far more powerful. Stick around. Number 1. Why budgeting looks smart, but isn't always. Meet Jenna. She's 32, a public school teacher with spreadsheet for everything. She color codes every dollar. Green for groceries, blue for bills, yellow for fun. At the end of each month, her budget looks flawless on paper. But her bank account still feels like a desert. See, Jenna thought she was in control. After all, budgeting is what the experts say, right? But here's the thing nobody tells you. Budgeting gives the illusion of control. You're not actually changing your lifestyle. You're just labeling it. And that mental math? It's exhausting. Every coffee becomes a moral debate. Every dinner out becomes a spreadsheet negotiation. That's not freedom. That's financial fatigue. Frugal living works differently. It removes temptation before it enters the room. You don't budget for impulse buys because you don't walk into stores just to browse. You don't stress about your eating out category because you've built a life where home-cooked meals are the default. Budgeting manages your money after you spend. Frugal living? It prevents the spend in the first place. Budgeting looks smart until you realize it's like trying to steer a car with a flat tire. Frugality just takes a different road. Number 2. Frugal living. A mindset, not a math problem. Let's clear something up. Frugality isn't about being cheap. It's not clipping every coupon or saying no to anything fun. It's about valuing what you keep, not what you spend. It's a mindset, a lifestyle, not a math problem. Most people build a budget around their lifestyle. They plug in the costs of the life they already live and then try to make the math work. Frugal people, they build their lifestyle around their values. And because of that, they need way less to feel wealthy. Let's break it down. A budget says, I can afford a car payment. Frugality says, what if I live somewhere walkable and skip the car altogether? A budget says, I'll set aside money for home repairs. Frugality says, what if I buy less house and take care of it better? A budget says, let me track my spending. Frugality says, let me change my life so I don't have to track so much in the first place. Frugality isn't just about what you cut. It's about what you don't need anymore. Because your life, by design, demands less. As one wise minimalist put it, a budget is a fence. Frugality is freedom. One controls your spending. The other redefines what's worth spending on in the first place. Number 3. The hidden costs of budgeting and how it can backfire. Let's talk about budgeting, a tool many swear by to manage finances. But what if, instead of saving you money, it's subtly encouraging you to spend? Consider this. You allocate 20,000 Nigerian nairas for entertainment each month. Even if you don't feel the urge to go out, you might think, I have this budgeted, so why not use it? This mindset can lead to unnecessary expenses on things that don't truly add value to your life. This phenomenon is known as psychological anchoring. By setting spending limits in specific categories, budgets can inadvertently give you permission to spend up to those limits, regardless of actual need or desire. Take the case of Brandon, who always maxed out his fun budget, even when staying in with a homemade meal, and a good book would have brought him equal or greater satisfaction. Over time, these habitual expenditures added up, leaving him wondering where his money went. Recent studies highlight this trend. In 2024, nearly half of Americans, 48%, reported saving less compared to the previous year, despite many adhering to strict budgets. In contrast, individuals embracing frugal living, prioritizing intentional spending, and valuing experiences over possessions often find themselves saving more without the stress of meticulous budgeting. While budgeting aims to control spending, it can sometimes normalize it, leading to financial complacency. Frugal living shifts the focus from how much can I spend to what truly enriches my life. Number 4. Frugal living saves on autopilot. Here's where frugal living gets powerful. It works even when you're not thinking about it. Budgeting requires regular effort, tweaking categories, checking your app, adjusting for surprises. Frugal living? It's more like setting your lifestyle to low-spend mode and letting it run. This isn't just automation, it's optimization. Frugality builds systems that reduce decisions, not just expenses. Let's say you live in a modest apartment instead of a sprawling home. That one choice means lower rent, smaller electric bills, fewer things to clean, fix, replace, or upgrade. No budget spreadsheet needed. It's the compounding effect, just like interest. Each frugal decision today lowers your baseline cost of living tomorrow. You're not just saving 10,000 Nigerian nairas here and there. You're designing a life that costs less by default. And when life costs less, you have more freedom, more flexibility, more peace. But wait, what if living frugally means missing out? No fancy dinners, no last-minute getaways, no fun? Next, we're busting that myth wide open. Because frugal living isn't about going without. In fact, it might just make you happier than budgeting ever could. Stick around. Number 5. Frugality without sacrifice. The joy of enough. Here's the biggest myth about frugal living, that it's all about sacrifice. No fun, no comfort, just endless no's. But real frugality? It's not about going without. It's about knowing when you already have enough. Take Marcus. At 41, he was the king of budgeting apps. He tracked every transaction, set monthly limits, and followed them like clockwork. But deep down, he felt anxious, always worried he'd overspend, always checking his balances, always a little behind. Then something shifted. He stopped budgeting, started decluttering, and built a life with 50% fewer possessions and twice the peace of mind. He didn't just save more, he felt richer. There's science behind this. Studies show that reducing daily decisions like, should I buy this? Or can I afford that? Lowers stress and increases happiness. It's called decision fatigue, and frugal living slashes it. Frugal living shifts joy away from purchases and into moments. Cooking something simple, taking a long walk instead of driving, fixing what you have instead of replacing it. These aren't downgrades. They're upgrades to a calmer, more grounded life. Because when you no longer chase more, you get to enjoy enough. And enough feels amazing. Number 6. Frugal living encourages better habits. Here's what makes frugal living so powerful. It doesn't just change what you buy. It changes how you think. Behavioral psychologists say that habits are the secret sauce of success. Frugal people, they don't just save. They automate smart behavior. No tracking every cup of coffee. No stressing over micro decisions. They redesign the system. Instead of budgeting 20,000 Nigerian nairas a month for cafes, they buy a 15,000 Nigerian nairas French press and learn to love the ritual of making coffee at home. The result? Less spending, more enjoyment. And here's the kicker. Frugality doesn't mean never spending. It means spending well. They buy fewer things but better ones. 60,000 Nigerian nairas on shoes that last 5 years beats 15,000 Nigerian nairas every 6 months. And they're ahead of the curve. Intentional spending is blowing up on financial TikTok in 2025. It's not just a trend, it's a mindset shift. Less impulse, more intention. Frugal habits aren't short-term hacks, they're long-term upgrades. Number 7. Budgeters quit. Frugal people evolve. Here's a stat that might surprise you. Most people abandon their budget within 90 days. Why? Because budgeting feels like a diet. Restrictive, guilt-inducing, stressful to stick to. It's rules, not rhythm. Frugal living works differently. You don't follow a plan. You become a person who lives simply, spends wisely, and values quality over clutter. It's identity-based. And that's the secret. Frugality isn't about fighting your impulses. It's about removing the triggers altogether. Designing a life that costs less and feels better. Budgeting is a tool. Frugality? It's a transformation. So, here's the big idea. Budgeting tells your money where to go. Frugal living stops it from ever leaving. No apps, no stress, just habits that stick because they fit your life. If this clicked with you, try this. For 30 days, ditch the budget. Don't track. Just live intentionally. Ask yourself with every purchase, do I really need this? Or Do I already have enough? You might be surprised how rich your life already is. And hey, if you liked this mindset shift, then watch this video next. Don't forget like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching.